and welcome to week 3 of Fall into Watercolor. This week I thought it would be fun to do something a little different. I enjoyed participating in the Draw This in Your Style challenges where artists will create an image and then you take that image and you draw it in your style. So this week I selected some art from Anna Shapetta, Halber.Minch on Instagram. So Anna, A-N-N-A, space S-H-E-P-E-T-A. And this is her original art here. And then she's Halber Minch, and I think that's German for half human. So Halber.Mensch on Instagram. And I just thought this was perfect for our Fall into Watercolor. This is an image I would draw. We've already learned pumpkins, so we'll incorporate that in our drawing. And then I love the wreath with the leaves and everything. And we will have a demo with leaves too later. So you can look forward to that. And I love to do portraits. So her style is very illustrative, as you can see. And then mine's a little more realistic. I love how she styled this. I love the colors she used. I love the little face on this girl and like how the ears are like a little bigger and the eyes are very big. And then you've got the little nose and the little mouth, and she's very stylized. She's got everything kind of squished up together, which makes for a cuter illustration, a little less realistic looking. So like you could change the eyes, and the way I decide how I draw something is, you know, I look at photography, I look at other artists' works, and I see things that I like. So I may look and see how somebody does hair. I don't use it exactly, but I will incorporate those things, and I'll go in with a plan. Now I drew this really dark with the color erase pencil, and as you see here, I'm using my gum eraser to erase it lightly, especially around the face. I left it dark so you could see my drawing at the beginning of this demo, but I did want to erase it back so that when I put the face in, it falls back a bit and you don't see the line work as much. Everything else will be okay because of how dark things will end up being. So for the flesh tone for a Caucasian, I use the Quin Rose or like an alizarin crimson and a yellow ochre, and then I'll drop in some ultramarine blue. If you'd like to do a darker person tanner like African American or something, I then use the burnt sienna and the ultramarine blue and the alizarin crimson. And in this demo, I am using all the same techniques we've discussed, so layering. And this one, I don't even think I'm using any wet into wet so much at all. It's all onto dry paper. So I'm just mixing up my colors and dropping them in. The pumpkin's exactly like we did in the pumpkin demonstration. And everything else is very similar. Now I am doing some negative painting around where her hair is. So I'm painting just the parts that would show through her hair there. And that's called negative painting. So I'm painting around something to make it pop out, basically. So instead of painting the hair, I will paint behind the hair, or I will paint the scarf in front of the hair, and the hair will start to stand out all on its own because the hair is going to be white. As you saw in Anna's illustration, the hair is white. So we don't paint a lot into it. We will put color into it because you will see shadows and you will see reflections. And I'm using this lovely turquoise color here. To match what Anna did. I'm keeping with her color scheme for the most part. She didn't have a scarf on her girl, but I did want to throw a scarf on and some mittens on, and part of that is I just didn't want to draw the hands. Sometimes I feel like drawing them, sometimes I don't, but I did think that the mittens and the scarf would add to the fall vibes, so I thought that would be a fun thing to do. I did tape around my image, and I like to do that because when you pull the tape off, you have nice, crisp, clean edges, and it looks really polished and finished without even framing it, but of course you can put it in a mat and frame it, it'll look even better. So mixing up some more colors here. So when I put the face in, and we haven't talked a lot about this, so I'll talk mostly about this in this video. So for the face, I look at photography and I go pretty realistic. I don't go as illustrative as some artists do. And so in my rendering, I kind of do use the rule of golden ratio in our face, and you can look that up, divine proportion and golden ratio. You'll find it all over in nature. It's basically a mathematical equation, and it kind of equates to rule of thirds, but it's a little bit different. Rule of thirds gets you close enough. But so the face, the eyes, I always have an eye length, eye width between the eyes. So however wide the eyes are, I have that in between the eyes. I have the eyes falling at the center of the oval. So when you draw the oval for the face, the eyes are at the center. Now they look higher because she has hair and stuff, but they are about at the center of the face. And then the nose, I have it about halfway between the chin and the eyes. And then the mouth, I have the center of the mouth halfway between the bottom of the nose and the chin. So, and you can play with those a little bit, tweak that, and you'll get different looks. It basically will change the age of your character and different things like that. You'll notice that children, their faces is much rounder and the features are more squished together. So when you see a lot of these illustrations, like as in Anna's and everything, she has the features much closer together. It makes it cuter. That's the same thing with that kawaii style. Everything's much closer together. So again, I'm going for a little bit more realistic, but still young looking. So I did, the tiny nose, and I do the bigger eyes and things like that. So when I do a face, I put in that first layer you saw, and then I let it dry, and then I come back in and I'll start to make things pop out. I will talk about this wreath a little bit since we're doing this. Right now, I'm painting it here. I'm using the tip of this round brush for all these little details, and I barely touched the paper with that, and that tip is very pointy, and my materials are listed below so you can see what I'm using. But this is a big round brush, but that tip is very, very pointy, and it does a good job of getting the details. So I highly recommend that brush. You can use it for everything. I was noticing the shadow on the face. I wanted to push it back. So anytime I want to push something back or lift some color out, I go ahead and just a damp brush with no paint on it, and I'll kind of wet the area, and then I'll dab it with paper towel to lift that up. So pumpkin, we're layering again, and then we do the same thing on the face. So it's just like the pumpkin, except for we're bringing out features. So like you'll notice when I start to bring out her features, we'll go under the nose for shadow, so that'll make the nose start to stick out a bit. I will go on the sides, so near the eyes and on the sides of the nose is where I'll go darker, and then that makes the bridge of the nose, that's where the light will hit. It's the bridge of the nose and the tip of the nose, so you keep that very light. Same thing with the chin. I keep the little ball of the chin light and some of the cheek area lighter. Then you can put some shadow under the chin where the neck is, and on the sides of the face a little bit. And where the eyelid goes back into the skull, stuff like that, and you'll see me doing that. So that's what I'm doing when I'm layering in, and like for the lips, where the lips come together, it's dark, and underneath that bottom lip is dark, and then that makes the lips pop out a little bit. For these techniques where I am adding the color and everything, I am going in, I'm dropping in a little bit of paint, and then I'm going and I'm cleaning out my brush, coming back in with a damp brush, and then I'm going around the edge so that it softens everything out, because I don't want any hard lines on her face. Same thing in the hair there. You see I'll put like a line. I come back in with a soft, just a damp brush, and I softly go over it, and then it blends that out. So like I am adding shadow to that hair. It's white, but I'm adding some blue and some purpley colors where the hair pushes back. Where it would be behind like her head, like behind her neck, and then you have the stuff that's in front, like the bangs and stuff, so that's going to be whiter, and then the stuff that goes behind that is going to be lighter. So same thing with the scarf. I'm adding in the shadow now. Once everything dries, you can go back in and layer. So you got to wait for it to dry or it'll spread out, but you wait for it to dry in between layers, and then you can go back in and you can add all the details at the end. Now, I'm not able to finish this all the way on video because I just can't see it as well. So I go as far as I can in this demonstration, and I'm adding my colors to the leaves and everything. But I will go in and I will add the freckles, and I will add a few more things, and I'll tweak the face a little bit. I'll add some ears and things, and you'll see the finished image at the end here. Again, go check out Anna Shapetta on Instagram, and she is Halber Minch on Instagram is her handle. It's ber.mensch. And check out her Draw This in Your Style challenge. And I would love to see what you create as well. Take care and happy watercolor and drawing this week.